Tree, you ready, Tree? Okay, he says he's been ready. All right, so Miss Anderson will be joining us shortly. We're here for the opioid awareness event here at the Secret Garden, right here behind Check It. And so we have a number of the baseline grassroots opioid awareness and prevention teams here at the Secret Garden. We're here to basically elevate and amplify the work that they're doing and to make sure that we're doing everything we can to point out all of the various different issues around opioid addiction and drug overdose that's occurring in our city. We have one goal. The main goal that's brought all of us together to do this work has been to end the stigma, and basically to save lives. Oh, okay. And we had to have a conference, we a little bit conference there, right? But again, we're here to save lives. You know, we want to address the stigma, save lives. We want to talk about a number of things that are taking place in our city, and principally in wards 7 and 8. You know, we want to welcome everybody to the great Ward 8. The great Ward 8? Okay, the great Ward 8. Last year, there was something like 567 different incidents that take place, residents in our city that lose their lives due to overdoses. Fentanyl has become a huge problem because we're finding that fentanyl's in all types of drugs, opioids, the weed that people are getting is laced. You know, we're going to hear from someone who had a personal experience, and we're going to thank that person for coming out and sharing their story, their tragedy with us about finding their child who lost their life due to an overdose of some laced weed. You know, so we want to make sure we're doing as much as we can to say it's hard to tell what fentanyl isn't in. The you know, once upon a time, you know, 40, 50 years ago, you know, heroin addicts was, you know, shooting up or snorting whatever they were doing, and for the most part, you know, if they did overdose or they did, you know, take too much or something like that, they can go to the hospital. They can be, but with this fentanyl, this stuff knocks a horse out. You know, and so to ingest some of this stuff is way beyond dangerous. And so we want to just make sure that we point out. It's like sometimes it's almost 50 times more potent than the substance that individuals might be using. You know, so imagine if you smoke weed, that the effects of the weed being 50 times more potent than it ordinarily is. The heroin or the cocaine or the crack or what have you being 50 times more potent. And this is what's happening, and this is why we're having so many overdoses in the city. I take an opportunity to say, if you don't know about Narcan, learn about Narcan. Because you never know when you're going to be in a situation when you're going to walk into a room and you're going to find your child struggling, foaming at the mouth, on the floor unconscious. And if you know how to administer the Narcan, and I think we're going to have somebody who's going to talk about that during the course of our gathering here today at the Secret Garden. I want to say thanks to sponsors. I know the Anacostia Coordinating Council, Ward 7 and 8 Prevention Center, two of the major sponsors, in addition to, and clap it up for the food, y'all. Clap it up for the food. Imani Catering has done a wonderful job again for the food. And so, of course, our host, the Secret Garden, Saran Moten and Check It. I want to now introduce, I guess I'm going to Siobhan first, or Nora. And then you do Siobhan. Okay. Are you going to come up? Y'all going to come up? Come on. Because I can get out of the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Yes, that was Stuart Anderson. He forgot to tell you who he was. I'll do it for you. But thank you everyone for coming out this evening. Today is International Overdose Awareness Day, and we're really here to enlighten people about the problem about drug overdoses and especially the fatalities that are occurring in our community. The epicenter of the overdose problem here in the district is here in 7 and 8, okay? And so because of that, we really need to have this straightforward conversation. And though we may have food, we may have music, this is a serious day. And around the city, multiple events are happening about awareness around the overdose issues that are happening in our communities. Everyone is affected. Anyone can be fatally can have a fatal overdose. It does not discriminate. But here, because we have so many additional layers to our situation, 7 and 8 is taking the brunt of it. And we've got to stop it, and we've got to stop it immediately. And so there are resources available. As Stuart mentioned, Narcan is available. The Anacostia Coordinating Council is one of the Narcan distributors. My name is Dr. Nora Green Lane. I'm with the Ward 7-8 DC Prevention Center. We do drug education, awareness, and prevention, and we work with our communities to be able to do the exact same thing that we're doing so that we as a collective can expand our efforts even more, because it's so overwhelming and so many more people are affected by it that no one person can do it by themselves, and it requires a community and a collective effort to be able to do this. So I want to thank all you guys for coming out. I want to thank Ron Moten, Check It Enterprises, Don't Mute Go Go, Anacostia Coordinating Council, Friends and Family of Incorporated People. And I want to thank our guests, Prestige, MedStar, Anacostia Community Museum, Janelle, and anyone else that I miss. Are there any ANC commissioners or anyone up here that I have overlooked? Okay. So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And so we're going to get started. Right now, we're going to talk with individuals. This program is really to acknowledge those individuals that have gone through and experienced an addiction and have come out on the other side. Because as they say, recovery is possible. I'm a daughter of an addict who's in recovery, long-term recovery for almost 30 years. It is possible. But the difficulty that we face today that we've never had to face before is fentanyl. My dad tried it 3 times before he was into full recovery. But when you have a poison like fentanyl, which is a man-made opioid, and is now in the illicit market, it lessens the opportunity for those individuals to be able to go into full recovery. So we have individuals that will talk about their role as peer recovery specialists as they help individuals to go into treatment. And we have a treatment provider here as well, and the other medical care individuals. And I'm on the prevention side. So my goal is to really prevent others, especially our young people, from engaging in that. And we know that it's difficult, and we know the challenges that our communities face. So it takes a collective village to be able to do this. We have individuals that also have experienced that loss, and it's really to commemorate their lives, because their lives were not lost in vain, and for family members to share, friends to share about that. And at the end of the day, we have community resources available, and we need to know how to access them, and we need to know where we can go to get them. And we need to remove the barriers and the stigma that's associated with getting those resources. And so I hope that everyone, if you're listening to my voice out there in the other spaces and here in this place, understand why the importance of this conversation, as well as to celebrate and celebrate life. We're all here on a beautiful day, and so we really need to really commemorate the lives lost, but as well as the lives that are here with us. And there's more that we can do about that. So let's get started. So to my left, we have a beautiful young lady. Her name is Miss Siobhan Anderson. I'll let her talk about herself. And then to my right, we have Miss Janelle Cooper, right? And she's going to share her story. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my right, and then I'm going to go to my left. Okay? All right. So I'm going to ask the question. So, uh, Miss Cooper, Miss Janelle, do you care to share your story about how you came into understanding what overdoses are about and how that affected you and your family?
So, when most people hear January 6th, they think of the insurrection. When I hear January 6th, I think of the anniversary of my son Sheldon's death. Um, and let me tell you his story. First of all, let me say that he was not a drug addict of any kind. He was simply smoking recreational weed. Um, I was asleep January 6th. It was about approximately 1 a.m. and I had a knock on my door, a very loud knock on my door, and I was startled. I woke up and they said something's wrong with Sheldon. He's sick, and this was his female friend that I didn't even know who was in my house. And she said, "Oh yeah, Sheldon's sick." So when I come downstairs, I think my son is going to be, over the commode or sitting up on his bed or coughing or something like that. My son is dead. Okay, so to not even prepare me for that was irresponsible because he had been dead for some time. So, how long were y'all in my house? Who gave him this weed? Where did it come from? And that's the question I'm still living with today. So, to find your child laying lifeless is the worst feeling. If I could just erase that scene from my mind, I would do it because I wouldn't want anybody to go through. Every time I think about his lifeless body, I couldn't even identify the body. Like when they took him to the morgue, I could not. I said, no, I won't do it. I'll do it by email. I'm not going up there. I just couldn't handle it. What happens when you only have one child and that's it? Um, the young lady, I know very little about who she was. I will say this, she was Caucasian. And I'm going to say that again. She was Caucasian. And they actually spoke to her about the weed. She confessed that she gave it to him. Um, and they let her walk. They let her leave. No more questions. They took my son's phone. They're still investigating, trying to figure out. I'm like, y'all going up the wrong tree. She said that she gave it to him. So you need to be looking at her phone and not his. To this day, I've still not gotten his phone back. So, and was told that to keep paying the bill because they're investigating. They're trying to track down. I've been paying the bill for 2 years. It was just this year that I stopped paying that bill. I said, no, y'all not interested in finding out what happened to my child. Y'all don't care. Um, but I will say this, young people, listen to me. You might think weed is cool. You might think, your friend has it. They want to offer you some. But here's the thing. You may trust your friend, but your friend may not have known where it came from. You understand what I'm saying? This is how my son ended up dead. When you make a decision to smoke that weed, understand that you're at risk. This thing doesn't take its time to kill you. Oh, it attacks your heart immediately. Okay? And you have to struggle for breath. He went to sleep. And she went to sleep. So she didn't even discover that he was dead until she woke up and went to the bathroom. Now, had they had been talking and he fallen out, he would have lived because we lived right across the street from the firehouse. They came across the street. They worked on my son for 2 hours, and they could not revive him. He was gone. And they said he probably had been dead for more than an hour before we discovered that he was dead. But young people, I'm here to tell you, you don't know where this stuff is coming from. You don't know what's in it. You don't know how it's going to affect you. And I'm not against weed overall. I'm just, a lot of us, when we voted to legalize weed, I wonder if we knew what we were asking for. Because we were looking at the legalities associated with weed, right? We were looking at the legalities. But I wonder if we opened up a window for them to attack us all the more. And I'm being very candid because this fentanyl didn't come to the streets. Ain't nobody around here producing no fentanyl. Come on now. How did it get in the streets? If it's used for us when we go and have major surgery and they put something in your IV and you go under for several hours, you're monitored the whole entire time. For something that they use to put horses down, something that they use in our surgeries, how does it hit the streets and how does it make it to everyday weed? There's a problem going, something's happening, and we just need to be more conscious. So I'm here today to share my story. My whole life was shaken, and I had just buried my mother when I turned around and my son suddenly gone. So here I am dealing with two losses, trying to figure out how I'm going to make it. And then I turn around and my support system, she died. That was my aunt, and she was like a second mother to me. She couldn't take the grief. I think she died of a broken heart. So you're left destitute almost, and you're fighting for your mind. If it wasn't for God, I don't know where I would be. I would have rolled over in my mother or my son's grave. I don't even know how I made it through, but He gave me strength that I can't even understand where I got it from. To know that at my son's funeral, I didn't cry. I even sang a song. I didn't even know I was going to sing. I got the microphone and I started singing. I don't know where that strength came from, but I'm here to tell you that I don't want any of you to go through it. And don't think that the face of fentanyl is a drug addict, somebody going down the street, trying to make it, trying to find. It's not. That's not even it. The face is yours. It's mine. It's our young people's. It's our uncle who may wanted to take a pill to alleviate some pain and something was in it. This is what I'm saying. It has no face. It does not care. Do you really know where your drugs are coming from? Do you really know what's in it? And there's money to be made by all of this. Just understand. Narcan is not, it might be free to us, but it's being distributed and people are buying it for distribution. So somebody's making money off of Narcan. Okay, somebody's making money off of these pills that the doctors keep putting us on. Somebody's making money. So greed is the root of all evil, just to be clear. Most of you may not be aware that fentanyl, upon touching anything with it on there, it will go through your skin, and it'll go into your bloodstream that way. So I have another friend whose sister was coming out of the grocery store and she saw a $10 bill on the ground. She picked it up. She put it in her purse. When she got in the car, she fell out and she landed. Luckily, she landed on her horn. When she landed on her horn, somebody came over, called the paramedics. She got to the hospital. She had had a massive stroke because of the fentanyl. So the other thing is black women are disappearing, and one of the things that they're using to catch you is fentanyl. They're putting flyers on your windshield. They're putting it on your car doors so that you have to move it to drive. You have to move it to open up your door. So look, get one of those things. You can order them on Amazon, those grabby things for people as they get, I have one at home now, to pick up things without your hand. It's like a grabby thing, and you pick it up, trash pickers or whatever. But no, people use them who can't stoop down anymore and stuff like that after you have surgery. Get one of those. If you need to remove something from your car, use one of those. Don't use a glove because it'll eat right through the glove. That's not going to work. So I'm just saying the many ways that people are trying to get us, and I hate to put a human behind this, but that's really what's going on. I'm just here to simply, I don't want to see any of our young people, I don't want no other mother to experience what I have felt, okay? My mode of operation is to keep working. And so as I went back to work, the pandemic hit. And then I was like, well, dang, I can't even go to work. So I'm left in a dark basement in my sister's house, which is where I moved, trying to deal with this thing and trying to deal with being by myself in a dark basement. I was in a very, very dark place, and I had to fight for my mind to keep right. I had to pray my way through it. I had to speak in tongues, whatever I had to do. I had to sing, whatever I had to do to keep my mind right, get out, take a walk, or whatever. It was the darkest place in my life, and I'm telling you, to this day, I'm still fighting for my sanity. You know, you see me here, I'm in one piece, but that's because I've been fighting. It's not because I rolled over and just said I give up. It's because I've been fighting, but I don't want any of you all to have to go through this. Tell your neighbors, tell your nieces, tell your nephews, your cousins, your children, even your grandparents, whoever you need to talk to, spread the word that this fentanyl is out to get us. It's out to kill us. And it has no face. It doesn't matter what you look like. Okay? And that's really all I have to share.
How do you celebrate life?
So, how do I celebrate? I speak about it. I continue to share my story because I really don't want this to happen to nobody else. Um, I created, right after my son died, God gave me this mantra, um, pain, purpose, passion. Through your pain, you will discover your purpose. And in your purpose, you will discover your passion. And so, out of that, I'm getting ready to start a group called Mother Forever on Facebook and IG. And these are for all mothers who have lost children. I can't speak from the father's perspective. I can't speak from the brother's perspective, but I can speak from the mother's perspective. That pain is like a gut punch. It's like you've been hit by a Mack truck. And every day you have to struggle to breathe. Okay? So I want to be able to talk and share with other mothers. I'm going to have a t-shirt that says Mother Forever because what I experienced, I only had one child. So I missed being a mother. And I'm like, am I still a mother? I don't have a child anymore. But although the body is perished, the spirit will live forever. So I will always be his mother forever. And that's how I'm using that to kind of get through. Because I know people use losing kids to gun violence, to car accidents, to sickness. It doesn't matter. But that pain that a mother feels is something that other mothers can share. And we could talk about that pain and we can get through it together victoriously. We don't want any of our sisters to fall down because of the pain that they feel in their heart. And that's pretty much how I celebrate his life. So everybody say Sheldon,
Sheldon,
Tosin,
Tolson,
Ashe, and I go.
Ashe, and I go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so to my left, we have the lovely Siobhan Anderson. And I want you to talk about your story. Can you share your story?
Okay. So I'd like to say good evening to everybody, first of all. Thank you guys for coming out. I love doing events like this, even when I'm not speaking. As you know, you see me when you first walk in, I'm at the table that says Long Live DC, or either I'm at the table that says ACC. So, what made me, why am I up here speaking? No, I was not an addict. I have a cousin, one of my favorite cousins, Christopher. Well, let's back it up. When I was young, my aunt and my uncle, they've been on drugs for a while. And one of them had overdosed like twice, but came back to life twice. And, you know, when you're a kid, you don't really understand what's happening there. You just know that you hear the grown-ups at the card table saying, yeah, such and such OD'd again. You know, you don't really understand it. So growing up, I just was like, oh, shit, she's sick again. Oh, he's back at the hospital again. But having my cousin, Christopher, moved from New Jersey, came to Washington to stay with us, and he stayed at one of his sister house. And I never knew Christopher was on drugs. I never knew he did anything. Actually, like he barely drinks. So when I got the call that they said Christopher OD'd, I'm like, oh, what? What is he doing? What? So I go there and I hear the story, and they're telling me that one uncle I said has always been on drugs. My uncle gave it to him, and what he's used to doing in Jersey is, so I don't know about drugs, y'all. I'm gonna just explain it like I can. When he's in Jersey, he rub it on his gums. That's what he does. Okay, here in DC, my uncle gives him something and tells him to sniff it instead of what he's used to, rubbing it on his gums. He sniffed it and he instantly had an OD, or yeah. And he's like shaking and stuff. And so when my uncle and his friend, well, both of my uncles, what they do is like lock the door and then closes it. And they go upstairs and they leave. Well, they're getting ready to leave. They're approaching the door. And so the kids, the teenagers are like, oh, where y'all going? And they're like, oh, we got to go. They rushing. So they notice and they're like, what you do to my uncle? And the kids now, the little kids are downstairs screaming, like, babies found him. Like they weren't even 18, 17. They're like 8 and 15 maybe. The kids found him. It was they left them with a house full of kids. So of course the kids found them. They didn't know they was putting ice on him. Um, but to sum that one up, the Narcan was right on the dresser. But because nobody in the family knows what it's for, and if you don't know he on drugs, you don't even know to go look for that. But for that incident, it was right on his mini fridge. Boom, right there. The two adults in the house, the people who knew what to do with this medicine, left the building. And left the building with the kids there, and they said, "Oh, Vaughn, we thought that was the nasal spray for his allergies. We saw it, but we didn't know what to do." Boom. That's that one. That's my cousin Christopher. And then I'm gonna say a month later, I'm still going through the grieving with Christopher passing away, and my cousin Rashad. He has sickle cell, and so he said it hurts. Sometimes his bones ache and everything. So he goes to his friend. This girl gives him a perk 30, and the whole time it was no Percocet medicine in it. It was a straight fentanyl pill. He died instantly. He died without shaking, without foaming out the mouth. He just died. Just boop. Just died. The girl had no clue what to do. She calls his mother first and say, "I think his sickle cell acting up or kicked in or whatever." Um, then she calls the ambulance because she said he passed out once before and came back too. So she always thought it was because of that. No, it's because they putting him in the medicine, like you said, the pain relievers and stuff. Um, and so that one hit me really hard because it was that both of those are my favorite cousins, and for this one he just didn't know. He did not know that that was going to be in that pill. He was in pain, and he was 30 years old. Christopher and Rashad was 30 years old. So I just tell people all the time, I can't tell people not to do the drug. I can't tell you, I'm not going to talk your head off about why this bad for you, every part of your body. I'm not going to do that. I just carry the medicine with me. I carry Narcan. I teach people about it. I host events like this. And that's how I celebrate life, to lead to your next question. That's how I celebrate life. I Yes, I can tell adults about Norcane, and y'all will love my, everything I have to say about it. But I strive to tell young kids, all the way down to 11-year-olds. That's really how I celebrate life. I do this kind of talk with a little kids, a group of little kids. We're talking, we're learning about it because y'all not on it, no. And I see a lot of grown-ups say, "Oh no, we don't need that, girl. I don't do drugs." I used to say the same thing right before Christopher died. I said, Dad, I'm scared of drugs. I don't even want to touch that box. What is that? Then Chris died. I said, that's why I should have learned what it was before, like ahead of time. So now I'm telling people way younger than me, your mom might be on this. You might know somebody in your family that you just think they keep falling asleep out the blue. No, I'm teaching them this so they can know exactly how to use it. So even if they outside on the playground and it's a friend of theirs, or if they at somebody's house for a sleepover and they mama doing it, like I'm just stressing it for all kids to learn it, because if the kids that found Christopher would have know what to do, we would still have Christopher right now. Thank you guys.
Yeah, give it up. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. They're very powerful. I hope people understand these are two distinct persons who experience overdoses, fatal overdoses. It happens to anyone and everyone at all times, and it's a painful process to go through as family members who are still here. Okay, and so let's. What's Christopher's name? Please say his full name. Let's celebrate the life of them.
Christopher Roderick
Okay, and you,
and Rashad James.
say the names. Christopher Roderick and Rashad James.
I say and I go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing your stories. We will have a performance. Before we do that, I would like to bring up the medical director, Dr. Raymond Tu from MedStar.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Incredible stories. I mean, incredible stories. I am I'm a DC resident, born and raised here my whole life. And we're here for one reason and one reason only. We don't want anyone to die from an overdose. Period. End. Full stop. There's a criminality, perhaps. There is some illicit stuff, perhaps. I don't care. I don't want anyone to die from an overdose. Full stop. And you can die if you are a little child by just touching the tablet. You can die if you're a senior citizen who maybe is taking medicine that you shouldn't take. We want to stop the deaths. And that's why the Narcan, the fentanyl strips, and those resources are something which everyone needs to know about. Because just like what was said earlier, even though that we're all clean in this room, you may be with someone who is not clean. You don't know. But you got to have some of this stuff as a resource to save someone's life. Now, you're wondering, why am I here? I'm here because MedStar provides medication treatment for narcotics and drugs as part of the benefit of our health plan, MedStar Family Choice. And that does not require pre-authorization. Now, what does that mean? You know how the doctors have to authorize stuff for some of these insurances and it's a lot of mumbo jumbo? We provide that. And that is the benefit which comes from the mayor. So we really thank Dr. Barbara Bazaron from DBH, who is really pushing this initiative throughout the city. And I've been really doing this road show. This is like my, 12th stop today? I mean, I've been going around talking because I am very serious. I don't want to have next year, we don't want to hear any more bad, sad stories. Okay, so we want to be empowered, and we want to take some of these handouts and giveaways, put them in your car, put them in your back pocket, put them wherever you want to put things, like your hand sanitizers, because you never know. I was running in the streets today with my little signs just down from the Costco saying this is a big deal. Okay, so thank you very much. On behalf of the 30,000 employees of MedStar, we have 30,000 employees of MedStar, 10 hospitals, 800 doctors. We are committed to making sure that full stop, no one dies of an overdose. Okay? Got it? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tu. So I want to just get our performance. You know, I know we're here to hear some great music, but yes, as our performers get up on the stage, yes. Yes, please give me. So I'm going to do a demo, and we have cards. Dr. Purcell, can y'all come up here? Purcell, Dr. Purcell, and her great assistant, Miss Tamara. Come on up here. Y'all are going to come up here. So tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi. I do. I'm good. So my name is Dr. Celia Pearsall. I'm with Prestige Healthcare Resources. We're right down the street.
Tell them what's right down. Where is down?
We are 1418 Good Hope Road, Southeast.
Okay, let's pay attention. This is very important. Dr. Pearsall, show
Okay.
what it is and how to use it.
All right. So first, let me say that we have the how-to cards on our table. Please take as many as you want. The how-to cards is really quick and passing it around. This is the new CPR. Okay? Okay. 58.1 years of age is the new fentanyl age in the District of Columbia. DC is number one. I just got the data last week. Number one in opioid deaths in the country. 81% of ODs come from fentanyl. 30% of that is mixed with things like cocaine. Cocaine is the number one stimulant in the District of Columbia. The young lady told you, it's not just that it penetrates through your skin, you don't believe it's there. You don't know it's there. 98.1 of all drugs used in the district have fentanyl in it. 98.1%. So it's not a matter of if, but when. I'm not pro or against in this platform. This is not a political platform. This is live or die. Okay? With this CPR, and that's how we have to look at it. Don't look at it, oh, I'm not a drug user. It could be in the grocery store. It could be at church. I work in Baltimore. I did a 6-year-old at school. They have pills now that look like candy. They look like Skittles, big Skittles. And they think that that's what it is. It's not fun. It's not funny. It's real. So the nice young lady said, how do I use it? First, know what it is. You cannot hurt a person if you use this if they have not used Narcan. If they've not used an opioid. It won't hurt them. So you're not doing anything wrong. Don't say, oh, I wonder if. If you think so, know the signs of an overdose. That's the first thing. Be educated. What does it look like? Who does it look like? It looks like everybody. Okay? The blurred speech, the bent over. Don't look for foaming at the mouth. You may not see any foaming of the mouth. Okay? You may come on a person and they're laying down. So you're going to try to do what? You're going to try to shake them. You're going to call out to them. You're going to try to shake them. Has anybody ever seen the hand rub in the sternum? You're going to take your knuckle and you're going to rub it down. You're going to try to revive them. Okay? If there's no movement, don't just panic, because 911 is also in this process. If you don't have anybody with you, most of the time a person has a cell phone, right? We want you to start this right here before you use the cell phone. We want you to administer the naloxone before you call the 911. Now, if you take it out of the pack, you're going to put your 2 fingers, your first fingers on it. Do not lightly push it. Push it in. You're going to put it up until it stops with your first fingers on your nose, and then you're going to push it up. Okay? Everybody got that? Don't jab it up the nostril. Gently put it in the nostril until it stops where your 4 fingers are. Okay? This red button, you're going to push it in. Don't do it lightly. Push it in. Okay? You're not going to have a watch where you're going to be counting if it is 2 minutes later, okay? You're not going to do that. They're going to say on the card to wait for 2 minutes. You're not going to be able to do that. But after you do that, what you are going to be able to do is what? There you go. She won. Give her a Narcan. Give her a naloxone. She won. Call 911. We're talking about real time if you're by yourself, okay? You're going to be checking for breathing. You're going to put them in the rest position on their side, leg on the side. Put them on the side, leg on the side. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And guess what else you're going to do? You're still going to be talking to them. You're going to be calling out. You're going to be doing all those things. You're going to stay until help comes. What happens if it's 2 minutes and nothing has happened? You're going to turn them off. The other nostril. Okay? Can you do CPR on somebody that has an overdose? Can you do CPR? You can. You can breathe. You can. You can give them breaths. If it's not responsive, you can give them breaths. If it's somebody you don't know, most of us is not going to give breaths. Is that true? Be honest, be real, but you're going to have already checked their mouth, tilt their head, make sure nothing's in their mouth so they don't choke. It's very important to know you can kill a person by not helping them. The Good Samaritan's law say you can't be sued. You can't be sued if you hurt their shoulder. Please do not let the fear of, oh, if they come around, they're going to be fighting. If they don't come around, they're going to be dead. What's the option or alternative? This is very serious. 98.1% of all narcotics, whether you say that marijuana is a narcotic, I've heard, oh, it's a natural herb. Well, it just killed your friend. Yeah, I can. And it comes with directions. See? It's very small. See how easy it is for you to touch it? Is it good for you? Yes, it was. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I like it. You're going to put it up into my nose as far as your hand will go, and then you're cocaine training online every Wednesday.
Third Wednesday of the month, 12:30 online. I'll send that out to
Please
everybody that
do.
signed up.
Please do. Evaluate. It takes a minute. It takes a minute to evaluate a situation. Have this everywhere. The school, the church, the store, everywhere. The restaurant. It's the person that you don't think. If you want to know what an opioid user looks like, look at your neighbor. Is everybody aware that oxycodone is an opioid? People don't think so because they're pills. I'm taking them as prescribed. I just need a little bit more in the morning because my back is hurting a little bit more. You're not taking it as prescribed. You are now opening the door to a gateway of becoming an opioid user, no matter how old you are. There are some housing projects here, senior buildings in the district that are saturated with opioids right now. Saturated. A population that we used to think were grandparents saturated with opioids. What are we going to do? So, okay, so there are many reasons why a person can turn to an opioid. Pain is one. Let's say they were in an accident. Oftentimes, last year during COVID times, 1.2 million people were prescribed opioids for the first time. Most people view opioids like a Tylenol or aspirin. It's not. They don't take as prescribed, and before you know it, you're preconditioned. Also, think about being a senior. You may not have family coming to visit. You may not have somebody regulating what you're taking. You may feel lonely. Look at the people that work in the building. Now, I'm not saying what the young girls do at the building, but it's a lot of young girls at the building and seniors with checks on the 3rd of the month. You have to think about that possibility. Also, in some of our senior buildings now, they're not just seniors. There are young men that may have been a victim of gun violence. They may be in wheelchairs, and so now they're in a senior building, but they're not seniors, and now all their friends are hanging around. So there are a lot of different scenarios. There is no place that narcotics are not at. Most people in your medicine cabinet right now have an opioid. So I'm going to tell you something. Does anybody in here know what gabapentin is? Anybody got any? Gabapentin. Anybody got gabapentin in here? Oh, it could be used for pain meds. I'm about to tell you. No, I didn't say what was wrong with it. I'm going to tell you how easy it is to get a high. They crush the gabapentin now and they snort it. The gabapentin. Yet, I'm just saying, that's not considered a narcotic. But what they do with your medication turns it into a usage. Yes, ma'am. When you take marijuana and it's laced with fentanyl, or you take cocaine and it's laced with fentanyl, that's a speedball. Your heart is speeding up and slowing down at the same time. You're having a heart attack, cardiac arrest, automatically. You may not even know that's what you're doing. You may not even know. Educate, educate, educate. Yeah, you don't want to take the box. Take it out. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's up. Can she take it out? It can in here. Leave it in here. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's just two come in a box. Okay. So we have to wrap it up. This wasn't my presentation, but I thank you for the presentation. So I want to say two more things and then we're gonna sit down. No, ma'am. If you ever have any questions, right? If you ever have any questions, don't feel uncomfortable in asking. Please go back to your places of worship. Ask them to have people come in and educate their congregation. Please go into your schools. Advocate that we educate the youth. The youth have 32% overdoses every month. an increase since COVID. Every month, the schools are saturated. Please, please, please. It's important, not just today, but every day. We want the numbers to go down. We want the numbers to go down. Uh, and please get your monkeypox information from my table. It's important. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parasol. Dr. Parasol with Prestige. Prestige is right here. What's your address again for Prestige?
1418 Good Hope Road, Southeast.
Right there on the corner by the park.
Yep.
Yep, right across the street from the park. Okay, still, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Philip Pennell. I'm the Executive Director of the Anacostia Coordinating Council. Our chair, our chair, Lamont Mitchell, is also the caterer, the Imani Catering that did your food. So um, we live in very challenging and troubled times. I mean, we're, we're in the coming out of the COVID pandemic. We're dealing with an epidemic of gun violence, and we're dealing with the epidemic of opioid overdoses. So I really thank you for being here this evening. Please take your Narcan with you. Spread the word about the situation we're dealing with opioids and fentanyl. So this evening, Anacostia Coordinating Council and the Ward 7 and 8 Prevention Center, the Friends and Family of Incarcerated People, and the Secret Garden in Check had invited you to an evening of life-saving information, good food, and now we're going to have some good music. By the experienced band, these young folks. Every time I see them performing, they're usually performing as something really positive for the community and uplifting, and they're here today. So I give you the experienced band.
Two.
Check one, check two, check three. How y'all doing today? We are the Experience Band of Show. We are known as the People's Band. We want to make sure you get your Narcan, y'all. We gonna save as many lives as we possibly can. I'm Travis.
gonna get it. It's your
Yeah. How y'all feel so far? Is it smooth enough for you? We not too loud, are we? Again, y'all, make sure you get your Narcan. If you're a part of the community, you need to get your Narcan. You never know who you might see on the side of the street, especially in our community. Let's be real. So you can save a life just by having it in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Come on. This song right here is the original. It's called Fergie. You can find it on all streaming services, platforms.
Y'all ready? Y'all can clap along too. Real easy. Keep it right there. Because I'm ready for love. Because I'm ready for love. Because we gonna keep it right there. Hey, boy, hey, let me hear. Now again, that was called Farragut. You can download that on all streaming platforms under The Experience Band Show. That's one of my favorite songs by us. Now this next song is one of my personal favorites because it's my song. You can download this song on all streaming platforms called Always and Forever by me, Jasar. apostrophe, capital T, capital A. Maybe you should know this. I ain't going, and I ain't blowing no smoke. I've been sober, but you should have known it. I wasn't going. I know you noticed I'm changed. I've been woman always, always. You say that I'm changed. Yes, it's true. Yeah, it's true. But you know I've never changed. Up on you, up on you. We've been rocking since forever. You know me better than anybody in my corner. Put together while you be messing with them flames. Boy, you think you clever, but I know I got your heart always. Baby, you should know this. I ain't going, I ain't going slow. I've been sober, but you should have known it. I wasn't going. I know you noticed I've changed. I've been coming always, always, forever, always, always, always. What do we keep going back and forth for? I get one myself we can't remember. Just to turn around and do it and forget. Just to turn around and fall in love again. Why do you keep faking like you leaving me? Telling all your friends that you hate me, but then you're right back in my bed and all up in my head. Like baby, you should know this. I ain't going on nobody compare. Baby, you should know this. I ain't going. I know I'll be there. Baby, you should know this. I ain't going. I ain't going no smoke. I've been sober. Baby, you should know this. I wasn't going. I know you know stop changing, but I've been coming always and forever. Always, always and forever. Always, always and forever. Always, yeah. Always and forever. Always, always,
Y'all give it up for the top. Okay, y'all, we are pushing originals. The DMV got artists that have original music that need to be heard. But this is what we about to do now. Hey, yo, Mark, I need a grown man party! Get it! Hey, come on! Shit, come on down!
If you in your seat by the end of the night, it's cool if you wanna chill. But I'ma try to get you up on your
six.
What's
I'm
up?
just another black man caught up in the mix. Trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Just cause I'm a freak don't mean that we can hit the shoes, baby. I can see that you don't recognize me. I'm the king. You wanna put that?
I was born underwater.
Say what?
Oh, you baby.
What?
But you did not do your man. Hey, 1, 2, 3.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Hold on, y'all hear that? Come on. Hey, 1, 2, 3. I will keep searching. Oh, what a day. What a lovely day.
You are now listening to the sweet sounds of the Experience Family Show, y'all. I'm the trombone king. That's Princess Chantal. Y'all know who that is. You know what, y'all? I got a crush, I got a crush, I got a crush. I know y'all seen this on the video.
True,
I know you heard me on the radio.
true.
But they still don't.
Pay me no attention.
But listen
Listening
to-
to what your girlfriend said.
Say what?
You a freak. You a freak.
Woo.
Got a different girl every day of the week. It's cool. I don't want to push a rush on you. I gotta let you know.
Check.
know.
Oh, I need to know where we stand.
Where we stand now,
Do
baby.
we share this special feeling
Call
called
love,
love?
love.
I see you, baby. I know I do.
What's up?
What about you? Chita!
Cause I need you in my life.
Say what, girl?
Would I go and what would I do if I can't live
Girl, without your love, girl.
Love you makes me feel like I'm the
Shit.
only
It was
one.
all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. So tough and heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall.
What's up?
Every Saturday, rap a tap, Mr. Molly Molly.
Ma,
I let my tank rock till my tank pop. Smoking bamboo, sipping on
private stuff
way back when I had the Roddy Black Lumberjack.
when you had your back.
Remember rapping dude?
The hard to hard.
You never thought the hip hop.
Take us this far.
Now I'm in the limelight.
Love me from tight.
Time to get paid.
Know what's like the world trade.
Forced in the opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner?
Hey, what you say?
Remember when I used to eat
Hold on.
salsa?
If you got breath in your body, say thank you.
Thank you.
If you woke up today, I say thank you.
I said thank you.
If you went to school and you got home safe, say thank you.
I said thank you.
If you know you stay blessed every day, say thank you.
Say thank you.
Give it to me. Sometimes we just gotta say thank you.
Say thank you.
I'll say it enough, I'll say it enough, say thank you.
I said thank you.
Even when I'm down and out, even when I'm stressed, I say thank you.
I said thank you.
I say thank you.
Thank you. Let it ride, 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 ride. without tragic end. Say what? But it's easy to see me and put down these things be. Say what? Cause I'ma tell you about this power.
Tell 'em about
And
this
keep
power.
on, and keep on keeping us. And we want to say thank you, Lord, for all you done for me. Shata, let me hear it, girl.
Said I wanna say thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Yeah.
Say
I
what?
can't say nothing but thank you, Lord.
Let me hear it.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
One more time, girl. Say thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Say what? Say what? Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Come on. Say what? Again, y'all, we are the Experience Band, the show, the People's Band. We just follow the spirit wherever God take us. Just because you see me in the club don't mean I'm a heathen. Don't mean I don't have a marking on my life. Don't mean that God ain't put me somewhere to save somebody that you can't reach. Y'all peace. Love y'all. Experience Band, the show. It's on you, Jata.
Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God has spoken. So let the church say amen. Keep going, keep going. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I got some news today. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know when. I'm not going to ask God. I'm not going to question God. But sometimes all I can just do is say, amen. Amen. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God will speak when he's ready. 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 I'll let God say when it's over. I'll let God say when it's done. God will speak when he's ready. So let the church say amen.
That's our time, y'all. We are the Experience Band, the show, the People's Band, the Community Band. We love y'all. I'm Travis, the Trombone King. That's Princess Jata. Love y'all.
people how to do this, and she's been around recruiting our young folks that are here. I have up here Miss Patricia Lancaster. I want her to come up here and share her story real quick. It's very important about what she does in this community for all of us. Thank you.